Ladies and gentlemen, he once fell off a ski lift. Michael Nadler, everybody. Put your hands together. Welcome Michael Nadler to the Friend Zone stage. Hi, Michael.
Wow, finally the Friend Zone. I was really excited to come down here. I'd heard a lot about this show until I saw this sign. Are they stabbing that friend? Is the Heimlich maneuver going on? I'm looking at this sign. I wasn't quite sure what's going on there. Down on Queen Street. And when I was a kid, Queen Street meant only one thing to me. It meant City TV. Do you guys remember Baby Blue movies? That was my porn. When I was 12 years old, Baby Blue movies were my porn. It was the only time that a guy at my age at that time could see a pair of tits. That was it. There was no pornography. I couldn't go to the store and buy it. I didn't have a big brother who would get these things for me. The internet certainly was nowhere to be found. So Baby Blue movies, they were on like at 11 o'clock at night on weeknights on City TV. And it was the only time that I could ever see a naked woman. But I didn't have a TV in my room, so this is what I had to do. I had to sneak out of my bedroom around midnight after my parents were asleep and sneak into my father's office. No, there was no TV in there. I first had to steal the Polaroid camera. Okay? Then I'd have to turn on City TV and wait, and as soon as I would see tits, I would take a picture. One time, though, I didn't realize my dad wasn't yet upstairs, and he was just sitting in the kitchen. And I walked out of the den, and my hand was flapping up and down and up and down and up and down. And my dad said, "What the hell is going on here?" Now, I don't want you to miss it. I wasn't like jerking off on the way out of the den. I was developing the picture, right? Because back then with Polaroids, that's what we had to do. And that was how I eventually found my way to porn. It was crazy. But being born in January of 1974 meant that my parents conceived me in like April of 73, and that was a very depressing time in the world. I asked my mom about it. I said, "Why? Like, what were you thinking about having a baby in April of 1973? Like, Watergate was in full-blown, like, trauma around the world. Vietnam was still raging and terrible. Richard Nixon was the president. What were you thinking?" And she said, it was terrible. But on City TV, late at night. I swear that's exactly what she said to me. She said, Baby Blue movies was the only reason that you're here today. I didn't tell her about the first part of this story. So I'm now 45 years old. I have 3 kids of my own. I've been married for 22 years. It's kind of crazy. I've got 2 teenagers, and they're driving me completely nuts. Because I don't know what they're talking about anymore. I don't understand their language. What have they done? Simple words like goat do not mean what they used to mean anymore. I don't understand how they take words like shaken and change it to shook, and it doesn't make any sense at all, but they seem to understand what's going on. My daughter had a friend over a couple of months ago. She's like 17, and I trotted out "I am shook" when I was talking about some political thing that happened. And the kid said, "Hey, your dad's not bad. Like, he's kind of getting the lingo down." I was like, "I'm Daddy AF." Now that kid's not allowed to come over to our house anymore. So I have 3 kids, a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and the teenagers are completely rebellious. Anything that I'm into, they refuse to do. I smoke a lot of pot, and I try to convince them to do it. They refuse. No, I'm not even kidding. I've tried it. The 10-year-old, though, she's totally into it. She loves the smoking of pot. A few weeks ago, it was amazing. It was April 1st, first thing in the morning, and my daughter and I were both, we were getting stoned as we do before grade 4 starts. And we were talking about the fact that it was April Fool's. What are we going to do this year? I'd been doing some construction around the house, and she suggested, why don't we build walls in front of both my brother and sister's doors so they can't get out? I said, "That's crazy. What are you talking about?" She said, "And then we'll build a slide right outside their windows, like a twirly slide so they can escape the house." And I said, "That's brilliant." And then she said, "We'll put spikes at the bottom, and they'll plunge right into the spikes, and blood will spurt out all over the place." And I thought that was hilarious. It was great. My son, 14 years old now, has a bit of a gambling problem. He made a bad bet last year. He said the Leafs were going to win every game this year. That was insane. He lost that one pretty quickly. He thought the Raptors were going to beat the all-time win record this year. That was crazy. So I'm up like $20 at this point. And I'm just trying to decide whether or not I should split it with my wife. I mean, we both raised this idiot. We should clearly split the money. It doesn't seem fair that I get to take it all myself. Anyways, thanks a lot. I'm glad you're here instead of watching the Leaf, which is where my son is right now. And have a good night. Thanks.
Yeah, keep that going. Keep that going. Michael Nadler needs it. He needs the clap.